Secret Invasion was a disaster. And even CNN is piling on. Like you have hit rock bottom when CNN has turned against you. Secret Invasion exposes the limits of Marvel's series crossover strategy. An article from Brian Laurie. It was last Wednesday. It's a week ago at the time of this recording. And it's basically a spoiler video about the final episode. And it talks about what a disaster Disney is in. Like, what are they doing? It says, in hindsight, Secret Invasion used an appropriate device, shape shifting alien scrolls masquerading as humans, as the basis for a Marvel series that didn't seem to know precisely what it intended to be. That is so true. How many times I did a breakdown episode by episode? I know I've been on with Roman's show and other people like Joker Voice and many others who've talked about the show. This is only Secret Invasion based on a comic book in name only. It's only Nick Fury and Samuel L. Jackson in name only. It is not the Nick Fury that we came and loved and enjoyed as far as part of this Avengers franchise. And it is nothing but just the old, meek, tired old man trope that they keep using over and over and over again. It basically just talks about how it was supposed to sort of like showcase Fury as a setup for the Marvels, which actually, to be honest, makes even less sense now because when he leaves Earth at the end of episode 6, Gaia is a super Skrull who's going to go off with Sonya Falsworth. There's a million Skrulls running around, and the president has like basically an assassination mandate of going to find them. Yeah, the Earth is still sort of in crisis, and he just goes back to space. So basically, he started in space, came to Earth, didn't accomplish anything, and then left again. And it's like, well, are we in worse shape now because the Skrulls don't have a leader and a structure and organization, and Gaia is now the most powerful being in the MCU, running off with like British intelligence? I don't know that this is a good time to leave Earth. Anyway, back to the article. It says, indeed. Indeed. If Disney is serious about paring down its slate of original productions, okay, well, first off, it is not so far because we're going to get Loki. We're going to get Echo all dropped at the same time in November. And as far as right now goes, we're still getting shows like Agatha coming soon. So Bob Iger has indicated. Now he is very vaguely alluded to the fact that he was going to scale back or they were going to slow down. But that was not with any sort of like clear communication or plan or anything like that. And he talks a little bit about the story and just the generalizations. There's Sonya, best character in the whole series, even though the finale, her brain falls out as well. But that's beside the point. Okay. Secret Invasion left some loose ends. Some loose ends? How about like 20 loose ends? No customary post-credit sequence. I mean, what are you going to do at this point? At times, it felt awfully talky for a show that kept name checking the event. Awfully talking. Like most of Nick Fury's time was spent sitting in a cafe or a bar or something, just chatting with someone. Like it was so much exposition of 6 episodes. It's just, yeah. And all this talk about Avengers or whatever and never including anyone, and even Captain Marvel's mentioned several times, of course. The viewers were treated with a glimpse of the shadowy corridors of Fury's spy work. What glimpse? He didn't do anything. Like he went to what? A gravestone where he had hid the harvest, and he went to like a mausoleum where he had like 3 different things open. I don't know why we needed 3 for the eye patch, the gun, and the coat. Whatever. Let's see. Since Marvel began producing shows for Disney's streaming service, one of the major advantages has been the latitude to spend more time with characters in a way that's seldom possible in the context of a blockbuster film. And yet we have so little to show for it. Those stories also served as what amounts to be the interconnective tissue with the movies. The way WandaVision played into Doctor Strange sequel, Falcon and the Winter Soldier paved the way for Captain America's changing of the guard. Sort of, right? Like it was really dumb to not have Doctor Strange show up in WandaVision, and Kevin Feige or some others have admitted that it was done because they didn't want a white male coming in and mansplaining to her about all the problems that she just created. And I don't know that it's such a great strategy to keep giving audiences homework because these are not threading together well. They're not threading together in any sense that things can stand alone and you could just go into a movie and not. I mean, I guess you could, but if you're not watching certain things, I mean, how much are you picking up or how much are you leaving on the table that you can't follow? Okay. Um By the way, since then, the pendulum has swung towards origin stories, a la should be AKA, by the way, or that is, which would be more appropriate than a la Miss Marvel, which is not an origin story, which is just a rip off. I mean, they didn't even do her right with mixed results. It was a disaster, even though it really is probably one of their better shows. Secret Invasion wasn't bad. Uh huh. But for the students of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it felt more like an elective than a required course. An elective? What kind of weird metaphor is this guy going for? Um, which ones are not electives? Like, what do I have to watch? Are you saying if I didn't watch WandaVision, I would be confused? I would be confused if I didn't watch WandaVision, why there's no vision in my Doctor Strange movie. Like it's still one of the craziest things. Like this love sick, torn person that had these kids that we don't ever see in the Doctor Strange movie, really. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know that what's not an elective, right? Because did you need to watch Loki to understand Kang was a big bad for Ant-Man? Did you need to? Is there any real? I mean, what was the required viewing? What is are any of them more than an elective? I mean, I guess Miss Marvel, if you don't know anything about Miss Marvel, but I'm sure you can pick up on enough of it, right? Well, that assessment might evolve as the Marvels comes into focus. Oh, it's not going to evolve. The Marvels is dead on arrival. And given how much streaming series were supposed to fit into Marvel's larger portfolio, it doesn't feel enough of a plus. And that's it. It's just sort of like a hate on Disney article from CNN. I was sort of like, just like, am I seeing this? Is this for real? Like, even they are like, I'm not giving the show cover. And by the way, there is no real details of them dissecting the show. They basically gave them the closest thing you can have to the this is absolute garbage review because there's nothing in it. It's just completely void. There's no real praise of performances, nothing about CGI, nothing about these new characters of any significance. There's nothing really there. There's no meat on that bone. There's like, well, there's this show, and it feels like an elective, which is a metaphor for you didn't really need to watch it. Nothing really happened, and we don't really care. There you go. You've even lost CNN, Disney. Way to go. Way to go. Rock bottom is here, and I'm ready for it. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.